Welcome to more Gran Turismo Sports Specialtatin. Today we're featuring my alternate account, which is very creatively named Alt Account GTS, so that way people have to think about its existence and wonder whose alternate account it is. I didn't mention it as much in the last video because that was more of to serve a point. This is just to be entertainment. I kind of made this account partially for entertainment, meaning I kind of made the name generic on purpose, and it kind of has a dual purpose to serve as some training for FI races, and to just race how I want. And well, how I want is clean if others race clean, but I'll get a bit dirty if others do as well. And speaking of dirty folks, someone who's in the Dirty and Nerds Racing League is in this race, and it ain't me. Super Go-Go Plata is in the race. I haven't seen that name in a while. So you know what? Given that this is Fiat 500s at Monza in the account that I don't have to care about my sportsmanship rating with, let's go ahead and have some Dirty Daily Racing League Specialtatin. Today, we're featuring Fiat 500s around Monza. That's about the worst combination possible, and given that the Dirty and Nerds Racing League was a parody of the actual clean racing leagues, so therefore my Specialtatin accent in that was sort of kind of a parody of everyone doing an over-the-top accent, I may as well do that over-the-top accent yet again. So anyway, today we're featuring some of the slowest cars in the game. In fact, it's the slowest car made to be as fast as this one can be around one of the faster tracks. So that should be entertaining, folks. And I'm already starting to move up the field slowly because some people just don't know how to draft. Given that this is the Dirty Daily Racing League, though, it may not matter too much because, well, this is the first corner. I'm sure someone will wreck here. And, well, there you have it, folks. Someone did wreck it. Jiminy Cricket, there's already dirty racing there. That car right yonder was just a little bit dirty there, so I think it's worth me passing there. You're not necessarily supposed to race dirty in the daily races, but, well, given that this is the Dirty Daily Racing League, you kinda got to expect it, don't you, folks? I think that may have been a little bit dirty as well, but also I think there was a little bit of ping-pong physics there. I had a bit of room there, and it sort of actually kind of looked like second place did the majority of that hit. So, well, I'll take it, because now I have a pretty decent lead right yonder. That's sort of the trademark there of the Dirty and Nerds Racing League, and sometimes people have decent leads right yonder. Because, well, they can eventually get a good enough hit in to get a nice lead, but the Dirty and Nerds Racing League has boost. This doesn't. So, well, that'll make things interesting, won't it, folks? And given that the DDRL hasn't exactly been around in a little while, y'all may not actually remember some of the stuff that went on in that. And, well, I'll remind you. Some of the stuff in that involved dive bombing, which happens in the daily races as well. Those two things have some commonplaces in that area. But given that this is the Dirty Daily Racing League, I could very well see that happening right yonder. Well, there you have it, folks. That was a little bit of a dive bomb. It actually first had a little bit more than a dive bomb, maybe just maybe. Because honestly, the first place driver has not run this track any up to this point. No qualifying lap, no practice, no nothing. But remember, at one point, that first place driver is actually one of the last place drivers. So you can't really fault them too much for that. So anyway, while we're on the straight, let's go through the field real quick like, folks. As y'all can see, it's starting to spread out a little bit, but I'd still say overall it is some pretty cotton-picking good racing right yonder. I'd say really there's been some sucking and driving and maybe even some sweeving, but it hasn't been too dirty yet. There's been some iffiness in there, but I'd say a lot of the dirtiness that happened has been mostly lag, but early on you can catch up from when mostly lag happens, but it's starting to not be too early on anymore. So let's see if a little bit more dirtiness happens there. And that was a little bit more than a bump, and that was a little bit more than a dive bomb. So, that driver might have got what he deserved, but the darker colored car there, well, I don't know, folks. Again, that may have been a little bit more than a dive bomb there. So, well, that car actually ain't there anymore. It's back in third. For a little while, I was looking like it might end up battling for the lead, but the car is in the lead before it wrecked in the last turn of the first lap is now back in second and is challenging for the lead. So let's see if it can do something, folks. I'm not so sure, even though this is recorded as live, wink wink, like the Dirty and Orange Racing League. Let's just see what happens, folks. Let's just see what happens. To be honest, I have no idea. I couldn't say in the slightest who ends up winning this race. But I will say this, that may have been a very slightly dirty move there. And I say very slightly because actually first recovered. So really no harm, no foul, other than the penalty system. Gran Turismo 6 didn't really have a penalty system that was involved with the Dirty and Orange Racing League. But Gran Turismo Sport, well, it has a pretty caught and pick and terrible penalty system right yonder, which some people don't exactly like. What's worse between the penalty system and the fake accident, I really don't know, but at this point I think I would have to go with the penalty system right yonder. But anyway, that wasn't exactly fault of the penalty system there, that was just a little bit of a physics explosion. And, well, that's pretty known in the Dirty and Orange Racing League, ain't it? With sort of kind of the more common accent being somewhere around this, and not quite this, but maybe not quite this either. So it's kind of hard to tell what's the real accent there. But I'd say this is pretty much normal to the Dirty and Orange Racing League accent. What accent do y'all like best in? And then leave it there in the comments. This kind of the normal accent, that's more of my natural accent, more the Dirty and Orange Racing League accent, which has a bit more of, well, an accent to it. Or just the Dianite country accent, it's just way too much of a parody to sound legitimate. I don't know, folks, I don't know, but leave it down in the comments below. I will say doing the normal accent, aka my actual accent, which does have a slight accent to it, is the easiest one to do. But when doing Dirty and Orange Racing League Specialtatin, sometimes you need a bit more than just a bit normal accent. And well, given that this is the Jiminy Cricket, the Dirty Daily Racing League, this is about as close as we're gonna get to it, ain't it? But anyway, speaking of as close as we're gonna get to the Dirty and Orange Racing League, that man just maybe been slightly dirty there by first. So let's see if second can come back by the end of the race and get a little bit of revenge on first. I'll be honest, second got a slight bit of revenge on third there because third was racing kind of sort of dirty early in the race. So that's how second got back around eventually. But second would have actually not needed to be that dirty on third if first wasn't that dirty on second. So if third wants to wreck second in a later race, whatever, that seems fair enough. But, well, I think as of now, second's going to be trying to wreck first, given how dirty first was earlier on in the race, and really even earlier on in the lap, because that's why second's so far behind at this point, even though second's been signed that has first place speed. So let's see if the second place driver has the speed they need to get to the lead right yonder. I don't know, folks, but I guess we're about to find out because we're going down to the final turn of the race, which means it's very much the nitty-gritty right yonder. And holy Snikes, there's gonna be a heck of a heap of sucking, driving, and maybe even some sweeping to be able to get to the lead by the end right yonder. Is that all the saying said? Well, Jiminy Cricket, I think it is now. Maybe, just maybe, folks. Maybe, just maybe. But anyway, second's gonna have to do a heck of a heap to be able to get to, well, maybe not. That was a little bit anticlimactic right yonder, I'll admit. Maybe that wasn't worth doing the exact Dirty and Orange Racing League accent there for kind of an anticlimactic finish. But you know what? It was fun. It was definitely like the Dirty Endurance Racing League in the sense of there's only really one person who is doing the video that actually knows what's going to happen in the end. So for y'all that didn't, well, it was pretty entertaining to almost the end there. Actually, it was kind of anticlimactic. First, just took that turn really careful like, and well, me being second, just kind of slid on by at the end there pretty easily. There were some penalties involved in that race, but actually I think by the end, pretty much everybody deleted the penalties. But let's go back to make sure, folks, because remember, there were some previous Dirty Endurance Racing League drivers in the field. One of which is Super Go-Go Plata. Let's see where he ends up finishing. Jiminy Cricket, he got 5th. Well, that's surprising right yonder. He actually ended up getting 5th in that race. Well, that's an interesting one, ain't it? And I think, given that this is pretty much a parody of the Dirty Endurance Racing League, which is pretty much a parody of the normal racing leagues, and this is pretty much just a parody of another accident that kind of goes with the over-the-top of the other one, we may as well have some more over-the-top racing, which ain't too realistic with my alternate account in the future, because, well, I don't need to care about this one, so there may be more of the crazy dirtiness in the daily races in the future. This might just might be worth a yeah!